Hey guys, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Delphine Konda. Did you know that there is a strategy that you can use to apply for scholarships and get them? It works almost 99.99% of the time. Well, there is a strategy that you can use to apply for a scholarship, and today I want to share with you that strategy because that's something that I used when I was applying for the Chevening Scholarship back in 2016, and it happened because of a previous failure and challenges that I had had applying for scholarships. So this brings me to today's video: 5 things that you must do when applying for scholarships. So in 2015, I'd applied for a scholarship to study a master's in development at the Antwerp University in Belgium, IOB, the Institute of Development Policy in Belgium. And I got the admission, but what they were waiving was, I think, the school fees, but I had to pay every other thing, which means that it was kind of a partial scholarship. Now, I was very excited about it, and I shared this with a couple of friends, and I started the visa application process and all of that. Midway into the application of visa and everything, I faced significant challenges. I was very stressed and wondering how I'm going to fund my studies, how I'm going to cope. Yes, I was working at save some money, but basically I was going to use everything to study. Then a friend of mine who was a Chevening scholar told me, but why are you applying for such a scholarship, or why are you going to study if you have to pay when you could just apply? Mind you, I had never applied for Chevening before. I had no guarantee that I would be accepted if I apply. So she told me, go ahead, drop this scholarship, don't go for this program in Belgium, and then next year apply for Chevening. And I looked at her. You know the thing where they say that a bird in hand is worth many in the bushes too. Yeah, many. So I looked at her and I was like, how do you leave something that you already have at hand to go and look for something that you probably will never get? But I trusted her because the strategy that she shared with me, it looked very reasonable. It looked like something that could be achieved. It was not the easiest, but it could be achieved. Long story short, I trusted this friend of mine because she's brilliant like that, and we laid out a strategy for 1 year, during which I was going to do a couple of things and then apply for the Chevening scholarship one time and get it. And exactly that's what happened. So what are some of these strategies that she gave me? The very first thing that she told me was, you have to be strategic. You need to understand what you want to achieve. What is the end goal? What is the most effective way to achieve your goals when you've thought about them carefully? The second thing is, think ahead of time, way ahead of time, what course and what universities you would want to attend. Do your research already and understand what school do you want to go to, why do you want to go to the school, because when you have to think about these things, it's already giving you reasons in your motivation letter to justify why you have selected the course choice or the university that you decided to go with. Now, what she advised me back then was, you have to choose like one university that you're like, this is my dream university. I would give anything to get into this university. You know those universities where you think that they are literally out of your reach. Number two, think of a university that is somewhere in between. Well, I could get in, well, maybe I may not get in because of one or two reasons, but it's somewhere there. The probability for you to get in is literally high. That's your second choice. And the third one is, choose a university that you are sure that you meet all of the requirements, come what may, no matter how bad, no matter how challenging it is, you're going to get into that university. That's the one that you take for your third choice. And probably go for a fourth or a fifth choice. Just take 3 other universities, and no matter how rough it gets, you know that you're going to make it. That's set aside. Find your justifications for these universities. Find your justifications for the course choices. Know the requirements and start working on the requirements that you don't already have. Remember, we are talking about applying ahead, like thinking ahead of time. So if you are thinking about this now, it means that you want to apply for the next cycle of that scholarship that you're interested in. So you have time ahead of you to maybe make some things happen in an attempt to meet the requirements. The third thing is obvious. Do your research. Find out what is particular about this course. Don't just say that I want to study development, I want to become a medical doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to practice. Find out what are the requirements for this, what are the job opportunities in the country you're going to. Take someone who wants to study law, for instance. Maybe you want to practice, have a license to practice in the UK, for instance, or in other Commonwealth countries. Is it possible? If you graduate from the UK or from Canada or from the United States, how rich would your opportunity pool be like after you've had this? What are the job opportunities if you go with this course choice? These are things that you should think about. If you're studying this course, what is the routine like? How demanding is it? Will you be able to do this? Who are the people who have already passed through this university, passed through this course, and what were their experiences like? I would literally believe someone who has gone through a process than just doing a research and reading from Google. Yes, people who write these things usually are people that have had experience sometimes, but I would trust someone that I'm talking to, maybe face to face or on the phone or online, and they are telling me their own experiences. The next thing is make a checklist of everything that you need. From the moment that you conceive the idea of that you want to study abroad, make a checklist. What do you need? And start working on them. If you need experience in the thing that you want to do, that's your time to maybe decide to volunteer, or maybe decide to work in that area, or get that experience that you need. Make that thing work. If you need to put a document together, start finding out how you can do that document already way ahead of time. The last thing is that draft your motivation letter way ahead of time. Now, there is a risk with this one. In my case, from the story I told you, I drafted my motivation letter the way the mentor that was mentoring me at the time, what she had done in her time. The questions that they were asked by Chivinin, she guided me based on what she knew. But unfortunately for me, I was the first batch of Chivinin applicants who got the really long set of essays that have become very symbolic to the Chivinin application. So those essays, we had no guidelines because we were the first. But what she told me when I became scared, and that happened and I became scared, was you already did a draft, so you're simply going to look at different sections of your draft motivation letter or personal statements, and then put them in the different essays and just edit them and work with them in the way that they ask you the question. And so I already had a foundation, and it was not difficult as it would have been if I had not attempted anything. It made it easier. What was equally important with this draft is I didn't just do it and then leave it to be like, oh, I've done my work and that's it. She made me share with other Chevening scholars. So my essay was like my foundation with the contributions of different people giving advices here and there until I got the final work. And when I submitted, I made it for the Chevening scholarship. So those are the 5 tips. First, be strategic in all that you do. Decide ahead of time your university and your course choice. Do your research, make a checklist, and definitely keep a draft. Make a draft of your motivation or personal statement. So guys, that was it for this video. Those are some of the strategic steps that I took to get my scholarship, and I'm handing them down to you, hoping that you would use the same strategy and it works for you. Let me know in the comment section if you love videos like this, or if you have questions relating to this or something else that you'd like me to discuss on the channel. Until we meet again, guys, please don't forget to create some